Good afternoon, fastball fans, and welcome back to the 2026 ISC Canada East qualifier. We're here at Keterson Park in beautiful Mitchell, Ontario. It's clouded over a little bit, but we're hoping that the rain holds off. JDT First Energy out on the field in white. They're taking on the Toronto Batmen, still in purple and black. Batmen, 7-5 on the short end of the decision this morning against the Northeast Drillers. JDT on the field for the first time today. They were 3-1 winners last night over their brethren, the Bear Creek Express. Blair Sedford with you on Softball Premier TV. Thanks for joining us as we roll on in the Canada East qualifier. And fouling off the first pitch for Toronto, it's Mitch McKay at the top of the order, catching for Toronto. Nick Shales, Denny Benson, then Cisco Lombardo, Owen Torrey, Liam LaForest moves up one, Johnny Baker, Isaiah Whetstone, and Mason McKay, the batting order for Toronto. Defensively for JDT, left to right across the outfield, it's Aleo Munoz. This one is off the helmet of McKay, and Devin McCullough trying to come up and in. It looked like it hit the beak of the helmet. I don't think it caught him flush. Unfortunately, Mitch McKay down to first. It looks no worse for wear. Devin McCullough, a bit of a shake of the head. Not where he wanted that pitch. Wanted it up and in, but not that far. Defensively for JDT, Aleo Munoz is in left, Jordan Pomeroy in center, Jonathan Lynch in right, and then around the horn, it's Justin Laskowski. Braden Descharmes at short for this one. Second base is Gendry Torres, and at first it's Jeff Lyons. Completely different look just about from last night. Behind the dish, Dallas Cornelius, and we've already talked about Devin McCullough on the board for JDT. Change up, and Shales waved at it a little bit and in for a strike. We talked this morning about how big an addition Nick Shales is to this Toronto club. Not only are you adding a guy who still has a lot to offer on the field, but you're bringing in a guy with so much world-class experience. And he is 100% an asset on the bench. It's like having another coach or manager in the dugout. The experience that Nick brings to the game, anchoring the infield, a great addition in the two spot in the lineup. And just, I'm so glad that Nick decided to keep playing rather than hanging it up after parting ways with Hill United. This is great for the Toronto Batmen. Change up, and Shales is able to keep the hands back this time, almost like he was sitting on that one. You'll get a couple just about every at bat from Devin McCullough. And chases the drop ball down and away for strike three, for strikeout of the afternoon for Devin McCullough. Gets the rise ball past Denny Benson. Denny had a big triple this morning for Toronto in that loss to the Drillers. It was 1 for 3 with an RBI on the triple. In for a strike. Just off the outside corner. Swing and a miss. Down goes Benson. 2 down. And McCullough gets his second strikeout. So Benson will come on to run for McKay on the 2-out catcher rule. And Cisco Lombardo took something off of that one and way out in front. You can see getting it down to 60 miles an hour. Devin McCullough normally in the mid-70s and drops it down to 60 on the changeup. Lombardo way out in front. Watch Lombardo, the way that he swings. He really loads up here on that back leg, and then he comes forward with a lot of power into it. Knocked one out of the yard here this morning for a solo home run. Got Toronto a little bit closer, but a couple of late insurance runs by the Drillers in that game this morning were enough for them for the win. This is downstairs again. Foul to the screen. And misses outside there with the changeup. This one just fouled off at the plate. Lombardo, that was all he could do was to foul that one off. You could really see Devin McCullough step into that one. Hit hard on the ground, out to short. Fired and across is Descharme for the third out of the inning. So a pair of strikeouts and a ground out makes up for the hit by pitch. Devin McCullough, no worse for wear. We'll go to the home half. JDT coming to the plate in the bottom of the first here on Softball Premier TV. Well, there's a look at the defensive lineup for the Toronto Batmen. Left to right, Liam LaForest, Mason McKay, and Denny Benson. And then around the horn, it's Johnny Baker. Nick Shales is at short for this one. And then at second, it's Owen Torrey. And over at first, Isaiah Whetstone into the lineup. Jordan Pomeroy, Gendry Torres, Aleo Munoz. 1, 2, 3 for JDT. Riley Mannion on the board for Toronto. And behind the plate, it's Mitch McKay for this one. Mannion, the hard-throwing righty, originally out of the Napanee area. Comes inside, but misses there. And a little bit of a smile to McKay as they'll get on the same page. And upstairs, and Mannion does a little bit of landscaping and falling behind to Jordan Pomeroy. And gets this one in for a strike. On the ground, and that's going to get past a diving Owen Torrey, and Jordan Pomeroy will be aboard with a leadoff single here. The bottom of the first inning, if you're just getting in with us, Blair Sedford with you on Softball Premier TV. Toronto Batmen, the visitors. They got one aboard in the top of the first, but Devin McCullough and a couple of strikeouts and a ground out. JDT coming to the plate here, the bottom of the first inning. This is the Canada East qualifier here in Mitchell, Ontario. The bunt attempt by Gendry Torres is foul back. It was bright and sunny here for the last couple of hours, but now we are suddenly a little bit overcast here in Mitchell, Ontario. It's Keterson Park. This has been the home for the Canada East qualifier the last few years. And we've got 4 diamonds. All of them have been in action throughout the day. We started at 8:30 this morning, 4 games in each cycle. This first set of games here, the first 3 on 2-hour schedules, and then built in an extra hour, and then we'll go 3:30, 5:30, and 7:30 for the second set of games. You can follow the tournament along on Game Changer. We've got the white division. That's the top 6 teams in the ISC rankings. Hill United, Bear Creek Gremlins, Bear Creek Express. This is not in order, by the way, but Hill, Bear Creek, JDT, Toronto, and the Northeast Drillers, all in this white division. And then we've broken that up into 2 pools. We've also got 12 other ISC teams here. And most of those 12 are probably in the next 18 or so in the rankings. And they're playing in 3 pools of their own. So you can look up the Canada East White or Canada East Red on Game Changer, and you'll come across the 2 tournaments. Swing and a miss there by Torres, down on strikes. Chasing way upstairs goes Aleo Munoz. Leo Choco, as the nickname is, had a wonderful ISC World Tournament last year with the STK squad, led the tournament in RBIs and home runs. Strike on the outside corner there. Mentioned last night that he was in the conversation late in the tournament. Line shot, Shales, strong arm back to first, and they double off Pomeroy. So it's a 1-2-3 inning ultimately for Riley Mannion and the Toronto Batmen. Nick Shales, Johnny on the spot as he always is, and doubles off Pomeroy. Scoreless through one complete. We're just getting underway here in this. It was originally scheduled for 12:30. We got going about an hour late. That's going to eat up into our time, boys. Come on, got to hurry up. Here we go.
A metal roof lasts a lifetime. Thousands trust Metal Roof Outlet to install stylish, stone-coated metal roofing that looks just like traditional shingles. Make a smart and worthwhile investment for your home with Metal Roof Outlet. Contact us through metalroofoutlet.com to get a quote for a roof replacement anywhere in Southern Ontario. Because when you trust Metal Roof Outlet with your roof replacement, it may be the last time you ever replace your roof. How confident are you in your organization's security posture? If your answer isn't 100%, you're not alone. Most organizations aren't doing enough to protect their data, and they know it. With Armitage Technology, you can stop worrying about IT security issues.
Well, thanks to Armitage Technology, we'll get back to the remainder of their ad another time, but we certainly want to thank Neil Dendecker and Armitage Technology for their support. Metal Roof, you're going to hear from Mont Hill, you're going to hear from Mr. Ned. Varm Matayosian was just on the diamond here with the Bear Creek Gremlins. Owen Torrey here for the Batmen. That one is fouled way back out of play. And this one downstairs, and that clips Owen Torrey. So we're second straight inning. We're putting the leadoff guy aboard on a hit by pitch. The Batman will be hoping that's not a trend that persists for the whole game. Owen Torrey is going to come out at least temporarily, as that one has shaken him up. You get one right on the ankle bone, and that can sting for a while. So we're going to get a substitution here as Tyler Pauli comes out onto the field for the Toronto Batmen.
Batman change. 66 is out, 7 is in.
Thank you.
Chasing upstairs goes LaForest. Goes downstairs, and that was pretty well played by the Batman coach there off the fence. LT Jacques over there. LaForest can't hold back on the rise ball from McCullough up and out of the zone, but down on strikes goes Liam LaForest, third of the game for Devon. That one is about a 45.5 footer from McCullough, and up to second base goes Tyler Paulai. Johnny Baker at the dish. Johnny did not play this morning in the game against the Northeast Drillers.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
John is softball all the time because in his day job, he's the executive director for Softball Ontario. And dead ball here at the plate by Ed Otterman, our home plate umpire. Ed Otterman and Rob Straitman are our blue crew here for this one. Rob out of the Bracebridge area. Eddie's in Kitchener now, I believe. In Woodstock at one point, but now in Kitchener. Should note too that today is National Indigenous Persons Day, and right here in Mitchell we're on what was the homelands of the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe peoples. And I apologize if I have not got the pronunciations correctly, but just did want to acknowledge that and the contributions in our game from First Nations folks, from the Hill family, Scott and Elena Cornelius in particular, with the Bear Creek and the JDT teams, the Hill United teams, and the support that they provide across the game, and with our streaming operation in particular. Baker fouls this one off the plate, and it is important just within Canadian culture to recognize National Indigenous Persons Day. So we do call that out here on Softball Premier TV. Upstairs. Good job by Cornelius to go up and go get that. And a good take by Johnny Baker as he works a walk and will put runners on the corners for Isaiah Whetstone. Inside. McCullough all around the zone right now, but just not finding it. And Whetstone does him a bit of a favor and swings at one that gets through the wickets on Cornelius and sliding in safely in a cloud of dust. It's Tyler Pauley. You see that one as Cornelius struggles to search for it, and there is Pauley sliding in safely. High hopper on the infield to Sharm, across, and he gets Whetstone. Good strong arm by Braden Descharme out at short for this game. Last night he was over at second. Toronto now out in front by one. Mason McKay, center fielder. It's the rise ball past him for strike one. Brother Mitch McKay is catching and is on deck in the 9-1 spots. That's pretty good speed from both of these guys in the 9-1 positions for Toronto. Changeup doesn't catch the zone. And just outside to Mason McKay. Baker out at second. Hard hit ball right at an outfielder. Johnny likely doesn't score. And this one goes down and lifts it, but that's going to be way foul out into the viewing area. And fighting off the rise ball again as McKay fouls another one out of play. Good battle here by Mason McKay, who's fouling off pitch after pitch, just trying to stay alive and turn this over to the top of the order. And this one misses downstairs. Fouled again. And skips this one. Baker up to third. Tough pitch for Cornelius to handle there. And that's an extra 60 feet for Johnny Baker. So ball 4 puts runners on the corners. Whetstone will go out and run for McKay, or should at least. No, he's a center fielder. So I'm thinking of the next guy who is the catcher. One ahead of myself. And off the glove, a line shot, and then it's booted by Descharmes. And they're going to give a stop sign there to Mason McKay at third. To see on the replay here, deflects off the glove just enough, and maybe that's what throws Descharmes off, but he got a bit of a tricky hop and ricocheted off his glove out into center. So Baker in to score. Mitch McKay goes first to third on the play, and aboard on the base hit was Mason McKay. So Shales quickly in a hole 0-2. So all this started with a hit batter. And Toronto have cashed a couple, and not quite done yet as Shales fouls that one off. Tried to sneak that low rise past Nick Shales. He fouls that one off to the screen. And again, able to reach out and foul it off. And a little pop-up on the infield. Gendry Torres will pull that one down, but a successful inning for the Toronto Batmen. They score 2, they strand 2, and through 1.5, it's the Batmen out in front. JDT coming to plate in the home half of the second, and now some work to do.
How confident are you in your organization's security posture? If your answer isn't 100%, you're not alone. Most organizations aren't doing enough to protect their data, and they know it. With Armitage technology, you can stop worrying about IT security issues so you can focus on moving your business forward. Our experienced staff monitor and maintain your IT infrastructure to keep your business running. Visit us at armitagetech.com and make your technology work for your business.
Welcome to Monthill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait.
All right, bottom of the second inning, Jeff Lyons for JDT, then Dylan Cunningham, Justin Laskowski, 4, 5, 6 in the order. The sun makes a reappearance and immediately warms things up by about 7 or 8 degrees, it feels like. Mannion skips this one past McKay. And Lyons, just a little foul tip. In tight to Lyons, who's not quite local, but teaches down in the London area. Jeff will be looking forward to one more week at school. And then he'll be on to the summer break. To Hopper, backing up is Pauli. Takes that on the hop and throws out Jeff Lyons. Dylan Cunningham. Can't bend that one in, stays outside for ball one. And again, misses outside. Cunningham 0 for 2 last night in the win over the Express. And Mannion trying to work that outside corner, but just can't find the range right now. 3-0 to Dylan Cunningham. And ball 4. 4 ball, 4 pitch walk to Dylan Cunningham. First base runner of the game for JDT. And we'll get down to Justin Laskowski. And that one just misses downstairs. There's a great recent episode of Outside the Chute with Randy Frame and Justin Laskowski. I'm not sure if Chris Hopewell was on that one or not, but Justin and Randy in an entertaining chat for 60, 70 minutes. It's worth the listen. of looking around the field. Nick Shales, of course, has been a guest on several episodes of various podcasts. We need more dust up. Jason Hill, Stephen Mullally haven't been on in quite a while, and I wonder if that one is going to get resurrected at some point. Little tapper on the infield. Riley will go get Laskowski, and a quick toss to Whetstone at first for the second out of the inning. Good coverage there by Mannion to get off the board and to go get that. But full marks to Randy Frame and Chris Hopewell, who have done great work with Outside the Chute over the years. Well over 200 episodes, getting close to 300. Did a quick hit for the boys on Thursday, and we'll have another quick hit Sunday evening at the conclusion of the Canada East qualifier, and be able to hear that on Monday on Outside the Chute. Missouri native Jonathan Lynch at the plate. That's tapped foul. Mentioned last night that if you had to put everybody in silhouette, you would know Jonathan Lynch's batting stance if you saw it. Very unique, that real closed, almost pigeon-toed stance, and then he opens it up with the front leg. He's got the hands real low and in tight. And Cunningham thought about going to third base on that one, but keeping the ball in front of him. A good job there by McKay. There's a great example of you just don't let the ball get past you. If you keep it in front of you, then the runner can see it and at his peril may or may not advance. Dylan Cunningham there saw that McKay's got it in front of him and did not take the chance in trying to get the extra 60 feet. Just off the outside corner. Lynch calling it no as it was in the vicinity of the plate. There's a lot of guys who like to call their own balls and strikes. That one's lifted out to left. Forrest will settle under it and make the grab for the final out. And JDT will strand one. Through two complete, it is Toronto 2. And JDT, no score.
Let's talk about a local one-stop shop. Live Well for Life is just that, a fitness, nutrition, and therapy facility all under one roof. Located at 3878 Wellington Street in Mitchell, Ontario, you can get so much done in just one visit. A full complement of staff on hand include chiropractic, massage, and personal training to get you back to your healthy self. Find them on the web at livewellforlifeinc.com or give
Live Well for Life, a proud sponsor of the broadcast program.
This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Matiosi. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago.
Denny Benson will get his second look at Devin McCullough, then Cisco Lombardo and Tyler Pauli, who has stayed in the lineup. Owen Torrey was in the starting lineup, but got hit by a pitch down low in the ankle area. He's getting some treatment over on the trainer table in behind the Batman dugout right now. I'm sure that involves a bag of ice, if nothing else. In for a strike on that outside corner. McCullough has gone out there frequently. The couple of times he's tried to come inside, it's resulted in hit batters. Changeup freezes Denny Benson. On a line and out to center field, and down to corral that is Jordan Pomeroy. It took a bit of a funny hop when it first hit the ground. Pomeroy wanted to make sure it didn't get past him. But Benson aboard with a hard hit single, and that will bring up the hard hitting Cisco Lombardo. Retired on a real good play by Ducharme at short, as there's the changeup again in for a strike. Ducharme into the hole and a strong throw over to first to retire Lombardo to end the first. Thought about going after it, but held up. And going way upstairs to extend the zone is Lombardo. McCullough will take guys swinging at that pitch all day long. Changeup kept the hands back, and that's a fair ball. And trying to go coast to coast and close at third, but making it around is Denny Benson. Vallejo Munoz had to go right over to the line to go get that, and you see Benson getting into third there. So a pair of runners in scoring position. And in for a strike to Tyler Pauli. Infield is in for JDT. And a strike again to the outside corner. McCullough looking down to check the wristband. Hard shot, Torres, and he's got Benson hung up and out at third. A bit of a base running mistake there from Denny Benson. Hard hit ball, but you've got to make sure that's through before you get too far off the base. Give credit to Gendry Torres. That hop came up right into the letters on him. This ball is smoked by Pauli. And then you see him running and nowhere for Denny Benson to go. So Lombardo at second, Pauli now at first, and Liam LaForest at the plate for Toronto, then Johnny Baker on deck. Down low. And gets him to chase downstairs on this pitch. LaForest does McCullough a bit of a favor. And goes upstairs after the rise ball. LaForest down on strikes for second time here this afternoon. Johnny Baker drew a walk, came around to score in the second. Little low from McCullough, but called a strike by Ed Otterman. That drew a couple of oohs and ahs from the Toronto side of the crowd. And this one in for a strike just under the letters. Can't get Baker to chase. Pami Madzalukwa is warming up down the left field line for JDT. Haven't seen Pami yet here this tournament. Baker lift this one out to left, fading back, and making the grab over the shoulder out in left. Leo Munoz tracks down that ball off the bat of Johnny Baker. Toronto strand a couple. They get a runner thrown out in between third and home. They're hanging on to that 2-0 lead.
Let's talk about a local one-stop shop. Live Well for Life is just that. A fitness, nutrition, and therapy facility all under one roof. Located at 3878 Wellington Street in Mitchell, Ontario, you can get so much done in just one visit. A full complement of staff on hand include chiropractic, massage, and personal training to get you back to your healthy self. Find them on the web at livewellforlifeinc.com or give
Live Well for Life, a proud sponsor of the broadcast program.
Braden Ducharme, Dallas Cornelius, and then back to the top of the shop for Jordan Pomeroy. Ducharme last night for JDT was 2 for 2. Scored one of the 3 runs in the 5th as JDT broke out in front in that game against the Express. They gave one back in the 7th, but that was the final 3-1. This one ricochets off and gets Ed Otterman in the back. Hey, we all right there? That one came right back off the fence really quick, and it got Ed Otterman in the back of the head. And you're not expecting that whatsoever. You can't brace for it, and he is just a little wobbled at the moment. No, just he's going to have a bit of a lump there. Trainers from both teams are out to check on Ed. He's one of our veterans and one of our favorites here of the Blue Crew. All right, Ed Otterman says he's ready to go. Good rise ball up and in from Riley Mannion. Gets to Sharm, swinging under it. Like I said, 2 for 2 last night. Scored a run. Just confirming the count. 0-2 on Sharm, but and now we're going back now 1-1. And that one downstairs. So 2-1 to Braden Descharnes. We'll get everybody on the same page. And tries the change up, and that one just down below the zone. And that one just misses outside. So ball 4 ultimately to Braden Descharnes. He works a leadoff walk here in the third. Dallas Cornelius catching in the 9 spot here. Squares to bunt and drops it down. Mannion. And a good play by Tyler Pauli to reach across, but over the head of Dallas Cornelius. And similarly, a real good job there by Dallas Cornelius, putting down a terrific sacrifice bunt and moving Descharnes up to second base. Good offensive play, good defensive play. Pomeroy fouls that back to the screen. Jordan singled through the right side back in the first inning. Then got doubled off on that line shot to Nick Shales. An opportunity here for JDT to cut the lead in half. This one is punched out to center right and making the grab. McKay out there in center field. Mason McKay tracks it down. Sharm, who's got plenty of wheels, easily tags and makes his way up to third on that play. And Gendry Torres get an opportunity to push across a run here for JDT with 2 down in the third. Changeup in for a strike. And pours in strike 2 at the top of the zone. And finally, Mannion trying to work out of this little jam here that he's gotten himself into in the third. Can't get him to fish after that one on the outside corner. And that one goes off the post and ricochets halfway down the diamond. An easy opportunity there for Braden Ducharme to score. And that walk comes around. So make it 2-1 now for the Batmen. Tried to spin the changeup in and couldn't get it. Mannion, you saw the slap on the thigh. Full count. Chopper on the infield, Mannion. Easy toss to Furs, but JDT cut that lead in half. A leadoff walk comes around to score, and through. 3 complete. It's 2-1 for Toronto. Off to the fourth we go. Pami Mazzaluca is on in relief of Devin McCullough as we go to the top of the fourth inning for Toronto. Isaiah Whetstone, Mason McKay, and then Mitch McKay. 8-9-1 for Toronto to greet Mazzaluca. And Whetstone can't get the bat off the shoulder there, so Mazzaluca opens his account with a strikeout looking. Mason McKay A couple of finals for you. Kingston Axemen were 7-0 winners over St. Thomas Elgins. So the Axemen even up their record at 1-1. St. Thomas also falls to 1-1. And then Toronto U23 Batmen. So both the Toronto teams were in action here in this cycle. U23 Batmen 9-2 winners. That was over the Sebringville Sting. Three-no count here to Mason McKay. And that one ball 4 as Pammy slipped on the release, and he's going to do a little bit of landscaping. And you can just see that hole now is getting to be almost ankle deep. In for a strike to Mason McKay. Mason walked, got as far as third in the second inning. Sorry, that's Mitch now. Mitch had an RBI single in the second inning. That one is fouled off, and Laskowski will come give chase. Called strike 3 in the inside corner. Mitch McKay is rung up, and that'll bring up Nick Shales. Floats that one in upstairs, so. Pair of strikeouts looking, sandwiched around that walk to Mason McKay. We'll see if Nick Shales can keep this inning going. That one misses inside. And chases the rise ball up and out of the zone. If you talk to Nick, that's the pitch that maybe is his Achilles heel, is chasing that rise ball up and away. That one is punched through the 5.5 hole. And McKay's going to turn on the afterburners and slide in safely into third base. You could see he was determined to make that happen, coming around second base and into third. I don't know if he got a bit of a face scrape coming into the bag. I'll have to see if we can get this coming into third base here. Yeah, a little bit of chin music Nick Shales, alert as always, up to second base on the play at third. So the argument here with Lee Jacques, as he's come down to talk with Ed Otterman, is Otterman called time very quickly on the play at third, and he's saying, listen, the player was injured in his opinion, and he can't let play continue. So Shales, I think, is going to get sent back to first. The judgment call by the umpire, but it's his call solely to make. If, in his opinion, the player is injured on the play, then he has to call time and kill any further play. That's what happened. So Shales is back to first. So runners on the corners. Denny Benson, hard hit single. That was in the third inning, so he's 1 for 2. Toronto looking to get that run back that they conceded in the bottom of the third inning. And chases upstairs. Benson down on strikes. Toronto, strand 2. Pami Mazzaluqua comes on in relief and picks up 3 strikeouts. JDT will come to the plate in the bottom of the 4th inning, looking to tie this one up. Sorry. to the screen. Lyons and Dylan Cunningham still to come here for JDT. Fouled out of play on the left side. Couple of quick run rule games in the red division. That leaves us with the only game going in my eyesight. I haven't been able to see over as far as the Legends diamond here. Just misses off the outside corner. We had an extra hour built into the schedule to account for the length of games. So the next cycle slated to begin at 3:30. Lyons smashes this one past Pauli out to right center, and aboard with a solid single is Jeff Lyons. So GDT trying to get something going here in the fourth. Cunningham worked a walk in the second inning. Mannion opens him up with a strike here in the fourth. Little flare. More than a flare, but a nice grab out there in center field. That ball just kept carrying. I thought that was going to drop in at short center, but it kept carrying and hit better than I thought. Dylan Cunningham, a line shot out to what ended up being deepish center. And a good grab out there by McKay to track that down. So 2 down here in the fourth. Jeff Lyons had made it as far as second, had to retreat back to first. Justin Laskowski to the plate. And in for a strike from Mannion to open this at bat. Change up. This one is short. And coming in to make the grab on the shoe tops is McKay. So he makes a couple of good plays here to end the fourth. And we'll stay at that 2-1 score through 4 complete. We'll head off to the fifth. Toronto coming back up with 4-5-6. Cisco Lombardo to lead things off here for Toronto in the 5th against Pami Madzalukwa. Lombardo doubled in the 3rd. Toronto threatened in the 3rd, but couldn't push one across. They got their 2 runs in the 2nd inning, if you're just joining us. Owen Torrey was hit by a pitch by starter Devin McCullough. Tyler Pauli came on to run. He came around and scored ultimately on a pass ball wild pitch. Johnny Baker walked and was driven in by Mitch McKay ultimately. For JDT, a leadoff walk to Braden Descharme, and he came around on a wild pitch as well. So wild pitches factoring in significantly here into the scoring on this one. 2 of the 3 runs coming across via the wild pitch. High hopper, Leskowski goes back and across the infield to get the first out of the inning. Good play there to stretch up high in the air to get that and then have the balance to make a strong throw across from Justin Leskowski. A lot of times you can go up to go get that ball and come down and you're not in a good throwing position, but Leskowski makes the play. In for a strike to Tyler Pauli. Chop foul. Swing and a miss here by Tyler Pauli. He goes down on strikes. Just a defensive change to catch you up on. Guadalupe Aon is on defensively for JDT. He's gone into Gendry Torres' spot in the batting order. Ducharme has moved over to second, and Aon is over at shortstop. Little low rise from Madzalukwa in for a strike. I wonder if he's picked that pitch up from Devin McCullough. McCullough really works that low rise ball a fair bit. And called strike 3 outside corner. JDT closed the door here in the 5th. And they'll look to come back and try to tie this one up. They've been trailing throughout. It's the Batmen clinging to this 2-1 lead.
A metal roof lasts a lifetime. Thousands trust Metal Roof Outlet to install stylish, stone-coated metal roofing that looks just like traditional shingles. Make a smart and worthwhile investment for your home with Metal Roof Outlet. Contact us through metalroofoutlet.com to get a quote for a roof replacement anywhere in Southern Ontario. Because when you trust Metal Roof Outlet with your roof replacement, it may be the last time you ever replace your roof.
Northeast Drillers. So first pitch here, and Jonathan Lynch squared to bunt, and the question is, was it a foul tip or not? They asked on the swing, and they said no. Lee Jacques is out to question on the foul tip and is going to get denied on that one. So out of all of that, ball one, Nick Shales, who is like having a coach on the field, and he's claiming that it should be a strike because he swung at it, but they've already appealed that one. So now we've got a further discussion here. Nick Shales has talked the two umpires at least into a further discussion, but I haven't seen any indication that the call has changed. It was ball initially. We've had two discussions on it. And big swing and a miss here by Lynch. So 1 ball, 1 strike. And that one is pulled through the 3.5 hole, and Lynch aboard with a single. A leadoff single here for JDT in the bottom of the 5th inning. Bring up Braden Descharmes. Walked and scored the only JDT run here in the 3rd. He squares the bunt, and that one hits him and called foul. And now Jamie Simpson's turn to come in and have a discussion. So Descharmes back to the dish. And tries to bunt again, and this one a called strike. And gets Descharmes swinging here. So down on strikes, Braden Descharmes. Dallas Cornelius put down a real nice sacrifice bunt in the 3rd, but one down here, we won't be looking for that. This one reached out and fouled out of play. Really working that grip rag in the back pocket is Mannion, that comes in with the changeup down low to Dallas Cornelius. Jamie Simpson over at 3rd base runs through the signs for everybody. Stay with us here on Softball Premier TV. Coming up, Bear Creek Express taking on the Northeast Drillers. The Drillers a chance to go 3-0 in round robin play. The Express looking to even their record at 1-1. Bear Creek went down to JDT last night 3-1. The Drillers 1-0 winners yesterday, and then 7-5 this morning, as that's a foul ball, dead ball at the plate. Jonathan Lynch can't fool the umpires into letting him stay at second base. A big grin on his face. Changeup and freezes Cornelius. Called strike 3. A good pitch there from Riley Mannion to get the 9-batter for JDT, and now back to the top of the shop. Jordan Pomeroy, sharp single in the first, and then flied out to center in the third. That one misses downstairs. Poked out to deep left, ranging back, off the glove, off the fence. Lynch will come in to tie, and Pomeroy with a stand-up triple. We got ourselves a tie ball game at 2. LaForest reached up to try to track that at the fence, knocked it down, probably kept it in the ballpark. Jordan Pomeroy ties things up here with 2 down, a clutch 2-out base hit in the 5th. Guadalupe Ayon, and this one downstairs. So he's come on defensively here for Gendry Torres. Torres struck out in the first and ended the third. In for a strike. Talked last. And that one hits him in the back left leg. And that's a stinger. Ayon right in front of us trying to stretch out that left leg. He got that in the hamstring. Lee Jacques and Darren Smale, the head coach and trainer, respectively, for Toronto, out for a bit of a visit to see Riley Mannion. Steve Norman was back in the dugout now. He was warming up there for a while down the right field side, but he is nowhere to be seen at the moment, so it'll be Mannion's game at least through the next batter, Aleo Munoz. That laced right back up the middle. Lucky that Mannion didn't wear that one. Hard hit ball by Munoz, and JDT suddenly in the lead here late in the game in the 5th. And immediately as that happens, out of the dugout pops Steve Norman and he will go down to warm up again down the right field line. But you wonder if maybe this is a couple of batters too late for the Toronto Batmen. Third time through the order for JDT. Lyons fouls that one straight back to the screen. Yeah, we've talked a lot about this with the coaching staffs of several of the teams here in this Premier Division. It's hard to ride one guy through a full 7 innings. Lions, deep, and gone. A 3-run home run for Jeff Lyons, and in the blink of an eye, it's gone from 2-1 Toronto to 6-2 for JDT. Six or five. Strike on the inside corner. We were just saying that it's hard to ride a guy through 7 innings when you're playing these top teams, and everybody has been talking about you have to use your whole pitching staff to get through these tournament games. And that's the good and the bad of this type of format. And we've seen this at the Bear Creek Classic last week. Toronto upset Hill United. We've seen it here this weekend, multiple occasions. Ramon Godoy, I think, is the only guy that went a full 7 innings, and that was Toronto earlier this morning. Here's a little one-hopper out in front of the plate. Tough play. McKay down to first, and beating that out is Dylan Cunningham. The ball only went 8 feet, but it was a perfectly placed 8 feet, and able to beat out an infield single there is Cunningham. So JDT now sending the 9th guy in the inning to the plate in the form of Justin Laskowski. Steve Norman throwing hard in the bullpen, but the horse is out of the barn. So Drillers and Express coming up. My good friend Steve Sabarin will be on board for the next 2. Pleased to welcome Steve, fresh off a great call down at the gold medal game at the Columbia U23 World Cup. And Laskowski reaches out, fouls that one off. Five runs and counting for JDT here in the 5th. They waited till the 5th last night as well. And that one is skipped in about 38.5 feet from Mannion, and Cunningham will make his way up to second base on the wild pitch. I was asked about 2 hours ago, who were the teams to beat here this weekend? And while JDT came in 5, I think, in the rankings, they've made the finals last weekend in the Bear Creek Classic And they're threatening to go 2-0 and looking very good doing it, as this one is lifted up to center by Laskowski for the final out of the inning. But JDT score 5 big runs here in the 5th. They take a 6-2 lead, and Toronto, who had looked pretty good, trying to pick up their first win here at the Canadies qualifier, are now trailing by 4.
A metal roof lasts a lifetime. Thousands trust Metal Roof Outlet to install stylish, stone-coated metal roofing that looks just like traditional shingles. Make a smart and worthwhile investment for your home with Metal Roof Outlet. Contact us through metalroofoutlet.com to get a quote for a roof replacement anywhere in Southern Ontario. Because when you trust Metal Roof Outlet with your roof replacement, it may be the last time you ever replace your roof. How confident are you in your organization's security posture? If your answer isn't 100%, you're not alone. Most organizations aren't doing enough to protect their data, and they know it. With Armitage Technology, you can stop worrying about IT security issues so you can focus on moving your business forward. Our experienced staff monitor and maintain your IT infrastructure to keep your business running. Visit us at armitagetech.com and make your technology work for your business.
Talking in between innings about whether Toronto Batmen have gone too long here with Riley Mannion and trying to ride him through this one. JDT, on the other hand, they went 3 innings with Devin McCullough. Pami Madzalukwa came on in the 4th. This is his 3rd inning of work. And down the line is Jan Carlos Gonzalez, as he has gone to warm up, possibly for the 7th inning. That pitch by committee approach rather than trying to ride a guy for an entire game. So just differences in contrasting coaching approaches. Three and one to Johnny Baker. Walked and scored, and then flied out to left field in the 3rd. Gave it a ride, but just ultimately couldn't get it out of here. And down on strikes against Pami Madzalukwa here in the 6th. Oh, 3-2. I stand corrected. The way he was headed off the field, I thought he was down on strikes, but... And 1 pitch later. That's the 5th strikeout for Madzalukwa in relief of McCullough. That broke the bat in the hands of Isaiah Whetstone, and he was shocked, I think, because he didn't immediately break out of the box. You don't see this happen very often in fast pitch. That breaks, and not sure whether a piece came up and hit Ike, but he was frozen in the box there for a second. Mason McKay misses ball 1. Worked a walk against Devin McCullough, and then another one against hammy a little bit earlier, and that one chases the rise ball up and away. That was in the 4th. Straight back to the screen. And a real good drop ball there as he gets Mason McKay to swing over the top. Another 1-2-3 inning for Madzalukwa and the JDT First Energy squad. They'll come to the plate in the bottom of the 6th, looking to add on to this 6-2 lead that they've picked up. You're watching Softball Premier TV. Stay with us here for the ISC Canada East qualifier. Thanks, Kenny. Sorry to rush you.
I thought Kelly was recovering.
I think she's doing the Legends game, isn't she? Yeah. Go that one. Jonathan Lynch goes down on strikes. Sorry, folks, we were dealing with trying to move a scorekeeper around to get a game on a back diamond started. Kind of like the umpires, sometimes we have scorekeepers moving from diamond to diamond, and we're running long here on this one, and the game that he was supposed to go to they're looking for him to get there. So doing double duty on the tournament direction. Ducharme is going to try to get to second and motors up there safely. So Lynch down on strikes. Ducharme. So we're going double. And Dallas Cornelius, one down. And he'll get an opportunity here to move Ducharme. JDT looking to build on this lead. He can't hold back. He goes around for strike one. Steve Norman is on to pitch for Toronto, and maybe an inning too late for Steve to be coming on here. Just misses on the inside. That one is fouled back to the screen by Cornelius. You heard Ed Otterman, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Dallas Cornelius. Chopper on the infield. Paulai reaches across to his right and throws out Cornelius. Good play there by Tyler Paulai to throw back against his momentum. Pomeroy got things started. With the hit parade in the 5th, and now he's hit by a pitch here in the 6th. But I already heard Steve Norman say, sorry, Pommy. Clearly not anything he's wanting to do here and put extra runners aboard. Guadalupe Aon. Inside corner, called a strike. Little short flare into right center. That's going to fall in. There's one for Ducharme as he scores. And just well-placed balls by the JDT squad here. A couple hard without doubt, including that 3-run home run by Jeff Lyons. But there have been some bleeders that have just fallen in as well for JDT as they've rung up a lot of hits here late in the game. Just 2 hits through the first 4 innings, and they've exploded here in the 5th and the 6th. That one is yanked foul. Upstairs from Norman, and Leo Munoz laying off that one. On deck is Jeff Lyons. But Munoz here looking to, if possible, if he gets into one, gets one in a gap somewhere or gets it out of here, that could be the ball game, because that run rule is +7. Two guys on base here right now. JDT threatening that a little bit. Gonzalez, who was warming down the left field line, is now just a spectator, as there's about 4 of them just congregated down the left side, just casually watching. Best seats in the house when you're on the field. And this one in and clocks Munoz on the arm. So bases will be loaded for Jeff Lyons. Jeff's 2 for 3, single in the 4th, and big 3-run home run in the 5th to break this one open for JDT. Just off the outside corner. Guadalupe Ayan is out at second base. He is the run rule runner, if you will, and he runs well. Lyons holds back on that rise ball. And ball 3 just off the outside corner. So pinning himself into a corner is Steve Norman. No place to put Lyons. And in for a strike. So 3-1 to Jeff Lyons. Still a real good hitters count here. Opportunity to end this one a little early. And that may just do it. Past a diving Nick Shales. And into score is Ayan, and that will do it indeed. That is the 9-2 differential. JDT rally late. They trailed through most of this one. In the 5th and 6th, they pile up 9 runs, and they defeat Toronto Batmen 9-2 here as the Bats come alive. We're going to take a break here on Softball Premier TV. We're going to have the Bear Creek Express and the Northeast Drillers coming up for you in about 15-20 minutes' time. I'm Blair Sedford. Thanks for being with us here through this one. Steve Sabarin is going to take over the controls, and you're lucky to have Steve for the next couple.